What do you want? It has to be like the third time I've recorded a video that begins with that. That's something I'm having to ask myself about when I make stuff nowadays, when I do things nowadays. I try to keep that in mind. I've been working on recently taking a stronger self-inventory where I know the things I'd like to accomplish, what I want my future to look like, what makes me happy, what makes me upset. Having a list of these things, if not prescribing and defining myself by them, but just describing them all out, having them at reference for me, allows me to get a stronger idea of myself, which includes, what am I trying to get out of this conversation between you and me? I've been realizing recently that I have these hills and valleys when it comes to creation, when it comes to putting myself out there. As everyone does, people have their emotional batteries, their social batteries, and when those go down, they need a break. But the thing is about content creation is that you're not incentivized to stop. The opposite, really. Everything about making stuff on the internet for the perception of other people is exponential. The more work you put into it, the more frequently, the more likely you're able to do good. Aside of impressions, aside of other stuff, there are a lot of different things that go into how something performs. And initially when I thought of this exercise, I did it as a means to be able to hone in my yap, my ability to speak to all of you. And I've been noticing recently that I've been running out of things to say, which is kind of crazy for me. I never thought that I would do that until I started, squeezing myself that way. And it made me wonder, what am I doing this for? That I've made these exercises content, that I was excited about these, but now that I have to wake up and do one of these, that I have to have the willfulness to do so, it's become work. A little bit. I still enjoy it more than I would, say, working a desk job, at least right now. But it's still work. And the easiest way to make work something you can bear through, something you can enjoy, something that becomes a strand in the tapestry that is your future, is reminding yourself what you're doing it for. So what am I doing this for? What do I want? The initial thought was that I would like to reduce my use of filler words in my speech, to shore up my conversational skills, and to ultimately sound clearer and consistent throughout a video. Did I get that? Well, actually, yes. I've been writing a tracker. I've been counting a tracker of all the times I've said and and aside of right, which has had an uptick of +2 recently, my use of as a means of filling space has gone down from around 6 to 3 to 2, and sometimes none at all. And that's fantastic. Exercise finished. I've done it. It's complete. Now that does increase my amount of pauses that I cut out. I've been spending more time in useful silence to work through my thoughts, and I think I can be afforded that as well. I think I'm happy to be afforded that nowadays, that I don't need to just be spitting constantly the way I was in my shorts era. Not to mention, if you're watching me for my long form content, very likely you can deal with 2 to 8 seconds of me thinking, especially if I go, wait, let me think. Let me cook. And I realize after 2 months of doing this that the standard I hold myself to is higher than the standard we hold a lot of great creators to. I was watching clips from Dokeyboard. I've been watching clips from Shoto. I've been watching clips from even Dr. K. A lot of these speakers, a lot of these creators who utilize their talking as their main point, their personality as their main point, use a judicious amount of ums and ahs, because it's their natural speech. They haven't erased that from their speech, and even in a hyper-edited video, occasionally they will add in or leave in some of those sounds. So why can't I? This is why I think it's a good idea to take a self-inventory, right? Because I don't think I knew what I was getting out of this until just now, or what I had gotten out of this, and now I know. I've genuinely reduced my filler words. I speak a lot more fluidly, and I pause a lot more because I'm cooking more frequently. And in retrospect, now that I've worked out all this way, I'm still going to keep making these videos, I can focus on different things. What are the next things I want to improve on? What are things I need to recharge or things I need to build up? What skills? And ultimately, I need to be kinder to myself, because by almost eradicating my ums and ahs, I've actually made myself not too clear, but I've held myself to a standard higher than the people who are dominating the spaces I want to. And you're not there because they don't say or are, you're there for them. So I maybe need to think about myself and how to draw you into me more. What do I want out of these now? Because to a certain degree, I've got what I wanted. what's the point of keeping making these? I like being able to have a conversation with all of you. I'm wondering if I need to do these videos to have that. If I could make a 5-minute talk or a 15-minute talk, and if that's the same thing. Also, I think it's about generation. I've been having a hard time talking to myself recently, and I think that's another goal of mine when making these. I don't want to be limited to my chat and its activity in order to be able to strike up and create conversation. Again, pardon the self-indulgence. Art is self-indulgent. Celerity masks indulgence with even more indulgence. I need to get better at talking at length without anyone there. Being able to provide value, not just in the context of interacting with you. And I do love interacting with you. I love the comments that you all drop. But I think that's my next weakness. If I've solved, for the most part, some unconfident filler words, and I'm working on sort of tempering my manic energy, taking things much slower, I need more things to say. And I think I've been leaning too much on writing down these things I want to say. I did a video recording before this. You're not going to see it. And it suffered because very often I was trying to read from my notes, from little jots that I wrote down, because I thought they were so fire. But the most interesting moments come from the spontaneity of it. Well, we've solved it. Solved the question, what did I get out of this? And now we have more questions and more things to do. I'm gonna have to dig into this. I'm really gonna have to pick this apart. Ding ding ding, 10 minutes. Sorry to interrupt myself, but I've got to justify that thumbnail somehow. The last daily 10-minute talk will air August 2nd. The peaks feel really good, but during the valleys of content creation recently, I realized that it can be really helpful to have a glut, a backlog of footage that I can edit from. Ideas that I'm proud of, inherently. In addition to that, I've been editing my 10-minute talks every morning for every weekday, and it's been a really fun exercise, but the time commitment is so large, it doesn't allow me to expand to other territory as a creator. It doesn't allow me to script for possible video essays in the future or work on music stuff. So really it's about freeing up time so I can start trying new things. I've also found though that 10-minute talks are really meaningful to me. I think it's good practice for honing in my workflow for video editing. I think the speech practice is still really important, so I'll still be recording every day 10 minutes, one video. What will be changing is that I won't edit them every morning, and that I'm not going to give myself multiple tries to record multiple ones a day. I'm going to try to keep it to one so that I have a backlog of ideas I'm ready and excited to talk about instead of unleashing everything during a particularly fruitful session and having nothing for the next one. So yes, daily 10-minute talks will stop after August 2nd. Instead, I will be posting 10-minute talks on Mondays and Wednesdays out of the footage in aggregate that I recorded the last couple of days and seeing which ones I'm most excited to bring to you. I might have a bonus upload or two every now and then because of the nature of these videos, but otherwise I would like to expand past them, and that means change, and I understand that change can be hard, but I'm grateful that so many of you stuck with me since, and that you will continue to stick with me. So without further ado, ding ding ding, and be well. I'll see you in the next one.